We are obviously, as a country, trying to get him to drop his tariffs and give us lots of deals and so on, and we've thrown the kitchen sink at this visit. So here he comes off the plane with Melania. He's heading for a real shindig at Windsor Castle, hosted by the King and Queen Camilla. Tomorrow, they're being careful on the steps, aren't they? Are they carpeted? They're not, are they? They look a bit carpeted, don't they, though? Tomorrow, Keir Starmer will take over and host Mr. Trump at Chequers. He's meeting this, I don't know who that was there, but he did meet Yvette Cooper off the plane.
I didn't see her. I
think we'll show you a clip in due course of Yvette Cooper going mad at Trump a few years ago. So there's all kinds of awkwardnesses here. But he was very excited before he set off.
Well, my relationship is very good with the UK. And Charles, as you know, who's now king, is my friend. And it's the first time this has ever happened where somebody was honored twice. So it's a great honor. And this one's at Windsor. They've never used Windsor Castle for this before. They used Buckingham Palace. And I don't want to say one's better than the other, but they say Windsor Castle is the ultimate, right?
So I mentioned Yvette Cooper. This is a classic thing where, OK, you're in the government now. You've got to say, Mr. Trump, it's great to have you here. And then somebody produces the clip of you protesting against him several years ago.
Also there, the Right Honourable Yvette Cooper, the Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs.
We're marching because the most powerful man in the world says it's okay to sexually assault women because he is rich and powerful, and we say no way.
That is Orcs, James, isn't it?
She's right.
Yeah, but she can't then shake his hand and say, welcome, Mr. Trump.
Politics is a complicated game, isn't it? Sometimes you have to.
Well, is she right or is she not right? I mean, I don't.
Well, if she had a backbone and wanted to, stand up for what she believed in, 8 years ago, which I think, the majority of decent people would agree with, that Donald Trump thinks that it is okay to sexually abuse women from positions of power, then he shouldn't be anywhere near this country, I'm afraid. And I understand the need for a working relationship with America. I'm not naive enough to think that we don't have to have a really good working relationship. We want good deals, we want good tariffs, all that sort of stuff. But we can have a working relationship with America without celebrating someone whose behaviour just runs counter to all of the values that we supposedly hold dear.
It's a weird one, because what's happened is now Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer and David Lammy and all the people who are furious about Trump are now having to give him the banquet. And the protesting is now left to other people. So some of the protests are really inventive. An image of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein was beamed onto the side of Windsor Castle. So there is Melania, and there is Trump on the left and Epstein on the right. And then and that's the birthday card Trump sent Epstein with the slightly offensive sketch. And there they both are. And it's actually animated on Windsor Castle. And so how do you know this? So this is... I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. This is all, it's tremendously inventive. It's interesting. The police seem to have discovered new laws to stop it, because there's now apparently, who knew this, a law against shining a light on a building. Carol.
The organisation that's done that, I suspect it's the Stop Trump organisation. And if you look at their videos and the films they've made in the past few days, they're more terrifying than anything Trump's ever done. They're making up stuff.
What?
Yes, they are. They're putting fake scenarios onto video.
Everything that was on the side of that, everything that's on the side of that video is...
I'm not talking about that. I've just said to you, if you listen to what I'm saying, they've made videos in the past week where they have put fake situations on videos. They have a supposed paramilitary saying, they call it diversity, we call it dilution. They have really inciting...
they're on the right, are they?
So, yes, they have. They have flags hanging from Tower Bridge that says send them all home. They're all fake scenarios. This is a dangerous group. And what they're actually saying is that inviting the democratically elected leader of the free world is somehow fascist. No, it isn't. And they're screaming about racism and Nazism and fascism.
All right.
And these are the kind of people who celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk. They're the kind of people who would cheer at lynchings. And it terrifies me that a group like this, because I think what's going to happen today, we're going to see a lot of violence. We're going to see a march of many tens of thousands of people.
Okay.
And I think the stuff out on their website is inciting violence.
All right, let's go to our royal correspondent, because he's got the very latest. Simon Vigar is in Windsor. And just on that projection, Simon, first of all, I gather that the people have been charged with malicious communications.
Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, that's the law you were talking about there because of the projection onto the castle walls here. I think it also covers Big Ben, because there have been plenty of projections on Big Ben over the years, haven't they? So any big public building or national monument like that, and 4 people arrested on suspicion of committing that offence last night. With the Epstein projection onto the castle, I should say at the last state visit, the person who accompanied President Trump on many of his engagements was Prince Andrew, who of course you've been speaking about, and he won't be part of this state visit accompanying President Trump, although he does live in Windsor at the other end of this vast royal estate, which is getting ready for this state visit. It's a biggest state visit on this scale hasn't been seen in living memory, with 1,500 troops taking part. We've got the Coldstream Guards, the Grenadier Guards and the Scots Guards all forming the Guard of Honour here, but entirely within the royal estate. The members of the public, whether they're pro or anti, won't actually get to see President Trump, who also, as you've been mentioning, is a massive royalist. His mother was a Scot, she was a massive monarchist. At the visit here in 2018, which wasn't a state visit, of course, that's the famous image of Donald Trump walking in front of the late Queen as he inspected the Guard of Honour. And later on at St George's Chapel, which is just through the arch there, he will be laying a wreath at the tomb of Queen Elizabeth II.
I gather that there won't be any real moment where there is contact between Trump and the public in Britain. Is that right, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be choppered everywhere from, expecting him to come in by helicopter from Regent's Park, where he's been staying at the American ambassador's lavish residence there, Winfield House. So he'll be spending tonight at Windsor Castle. So everything happens within the castle walls and the railings. Big fences have been put up to stop people being able to see into the park where the carriage procession will take place. Now, usually American presidents, this isn't just Donald Trump, usually they're in the Beast, that big limo. The American Secret Service, it's their call. They do not want their president out in the open. But President Trump will be in an open carriage procession. It seems that the rain has passed through now, so that will be fine. But it's entirely within the castle perimeter. And I think, the protesters last time in 2019 didn't get really close to him. A few weeks ago in Scotland, the protesters didn't get close to him, and there are hardly any here in Windsor. So it seems that most of the protests, as you've been saying, is going to be in London and not actually in close proximity. It really is a made-for-TV state visit, this, Jeremy. It's going to be big. There's a joint flypast of F-35s and Red Arrows. There's a state banquet tonight, but all of it away from the general public.
Thank you very much indeed, Simon Vigar in Windsor. Thousands of people are expected to protest against Trump's state visit today. Campaigners say our government shouldn't be honouring a man who is violating human rights around the world. We'd love your thoughts on this after the break. Are the protests right or wrong? Give us a call now. Tell us what you think. Would it be better if we let him have his visit and then subsequently we get cross about it? 0207 862 2222. Are the protests against Trump right or wrong? Yesterday, people were gathered in Windsor, and our floor manager, Ella Downey, went to speak to them.
Hi, Jeremy. I am outside Windsor Castle ahead of Donald Trump's arrival for his second state visit, and I'm going to ask people what they really think about it.
But this person should not be here.
Is protesting something you come out and do often?
No, this is an exception because I feel like this is something that is an exceptional moment.
I think that he's in the pockets of billionaires. He really just cares about himself.
As a principle, you shouldn't deal with people like that.
This is my hometown, and I don't want him here.
I think he's destroying American democracy.
Can I ask you what your boards say here?
This is what I'm staunchly against, how the Americans speak as if they have a God-given right to dictate to the whole world, and no God gave them that right.
I couldn't read his board.
Do you know what
He need a
upsets
thicker
me
felt
about
tip.
These people, they can protest against who they like, but the bottom line is we need America. It is our greatest ally. Trump is here currently and he's talking about making our trade deal better. He's going to be meeting the big tech giants to do a $1 billion deal.
But
But hang on, let me finish. And this is really important for Britain because just last week, Merck, the pharmaceutical company, which was going to do a $1 billion deal with us, pulled out, as did AstraZeneca. We need this country to work, and to alienate one of our greatest allies is stupidity.
But no, just to stick with Ella for a second, she also went to speak to locals to get their reaction, but she was interrupted.
What do you make of the protest? Is it a bit of a nuisance?
When you're trying to run a business and you get these interruptions and then it impacts that, yeah, that can be a bit of a deterrent and a frustration.
You've got the usual crowd, you've got the 60, 70-year-olds my age who, you know, they're a little bit stuck on their old politics.
We can't seem to find the individual that is speaking out in support of Trump. It's a sound coming from one of the speakers over there. Hopefully we're going to find him. It's not being met with a very positive response.
Donald Trump,
there he is.
I welcome him into my country. I welcome him into my country.
I might go and see if the man in the ice cream shop wants to chat about why he likes Trump.
I mean, he took a bullet in the ear, yeah? And he got up and he went like that.
And you're supporting him. He's a
I am
dictator.
supporting him because I know at the end of the day, I know.
Everyone's calling for this Nobel Peace Prize.
You don't want to listen to me. Yeah? He will bring stability in this world, I guarantee you.
All right, James, he'll bring stability.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He brings division, chaos, he brings violence. He's basically a fascist director at this point. Everything he does is everything he does. Carol, whatever metric, whichever metric,
Carol wants him to be here because of the money.
Whichever metric you use to describe fascism, Donald Trump fits in within that.
He doesn't.
Well, he's
undemocratic. He doesn't believe in election results.
He's not undemocratic. Are you forgetting he was democratically elected by a big majority?
But if he hadn't been, he would have said he was.
Against every democracy going.
But he was elected.
He was elected by the American people.
He bans journalists that he doesn't agree with. That's
also
fascism.
on your
He
basis
glorifies violence.
If he brings money, we should deal with him. I understand the logic of that. On that basis, you would definitely have dealt with Jeffrey Epstein.
What do you mean dealt with?
Well, because he's got loads of money. Because in the end, if you just say it's all about money, that's how you get into trouble.
Jeffrey Epstein was not the leader of the free world.
That's not what I'm saying. You can't allow money to be the only thing.
This country currently has almost zero growth. And if Trump makes it better for us in terms of trade, if he does this $1 billion deal with it, he's meeting with tech and finance people while he's here. This is not just a visit for him to mess around at Windsor Castle. He's actually meeting. No, he's not. He's meeting moneyed people and he's doing deals.
Why a state,
and it's really important for a country that's on its uppers to get good deals.
Why do we need to roll out the red carpet for someone like this who has been proven in a court of law to have sexually abused a woman and then lied about it, Carol?
The red carpet.
I am all for Sam Altman from OpenAI and the guy from NVIDIA coming over here. I am all for that.
Why did we roll out the red carpet for the president of China, whose regime has tortured and murdered millions of people?
All right.
I don't agree with that either.
Well, but there was none of these protests when he came.
Just a little vignette, if I may, of the last 24 hours. Trump doesn't apparently get a full night's sleep. At 3 a.m., he finds a video. I'm just going to explain this. He's been chased by this attorney called Fannie Willis, who has been prosecuting him over the sort of insurrection / stolen election claims, all a bit historic. She's been in trouble because it turns out she was having allegedly an affair with one of the other lawyers in the case, whose name was Nathan Wade. He was giving evidence and he looked very shifty, and someone posted a meme on it, and this came from Trump's account last night.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
I've been really trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby,
No.
You've never gone to a cabinet with this?
No.
It's just that he's tweeted that at 3 a.m. It's obviously 2 people he doesn't like. It's great, Carol. Come on, this is nuts.
No, it's what
At some point,
to invite the democratically elected leader of the free world to help us make money. That's nuts, is it? No, it isn't. It's absolutely the right thing to do. And all these people who are demonstrating, they don't have to run a country. They don't have to make the country work. You know, Starmer is very lucky that Trump actually wants to deal with them at all after what happened. After most of his government.
Well,
has
that may
flagged
be
them off.
why they moved David Lammy. I don't know. Sue in Essex. Hello.
Hello. Good
Well,
morning
now you're-
to all of you.
Morning.
Yeah, morning, Sue. Would you be on the protests, or would you be like this, the guy that Ella filmed who was saying, "Trump, we need Trump"?
I wouldn't do any of it, but I would speak from a situation like you've got here, where it's broadcast out fairly and democratically, etc. I'm with him. This guy could actually introduce better business, maybe better wealth, and for those who don't already have it, may introduce employment, you name it, anything of that sort. And to be honest, he always is polite. He loves our country.
He does, yeah.
And, well, I've always liked the guy, to be fair, because of the way he is.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
he
what he said.
obviously leaves sort of, not a trail of disaster, but he does make gaffes. I remember he was talking to the president of Liberia the other week and said, "Your English is amazing. Where did you learn it? You speak it so well." And the answer is, that is the man's native language. That's his main...
Okay. Just
All
cut
right.
straight to Joe Biden, who spent half his presidency catatonic.
He was ill.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's carried on. He should have retired. But he said stupid. Joe Biden said stupid things, and you've quoted them, and you've done his voice. I've
true.
heard you. You have.
Yeah, well, he couldn't always understand what he was saying.
Well, exactly. So hello.
So, okay, Sue, thank you. So, Sue, no. That debate, honestly, but the Joe Biden thing is over and done, and that, in a way, is what lost them the election, the Democrats, and they are nowhere. He is the main voice there, James. We can't be cozying up to any other party. There isn't one at the moment. Yeah, but he is the only show in town.
But there's a difference, right, between cooperation and celebration. I agree with Carol on the point that we need to have great deals. We need to bring money in. What Sue from Essex was saying as well. This is great. We've got the guy from NVIDIA over, Sam Altman from OpenAI. This is exactly what we should be doing, inviting these tech giants over to work with us, bring more innovation, more money. What we don't need is a state visit in front of the king.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
we
well,
know
then
because
maybe-
that panders to his ego. That's what he loves. That's what he wants. And this is.
But it makes us look
in
weak.
all
It
business
makes us look
dealings,
like we've got no
when somebody
principles.
wants something off another business person, they butter them up. They give them treats. They do whatever.
Let's get Tony in Hampshire. Tony, hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, fine. We're just trying to work out if it's rude to protest against Trump. Whether the guys who shone the image of Epstein on Windsor Castle.
Which I thought was hilarious, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's creative.
Yeah, very much so. No, I respect that. I mean, look, it's what Trump and Musk and Kirk, they certainly would have been. They certainly would have been fans of that type of free speech, free act, free behaviour. Look, the guy should be allowed to come here, but to put him on a pedestal. I mean, Carol, what are you thinking? This is a guy.
Tony, we invited the president of China to this country for a state
That's
visit.
called whataboutery.
It's not called whataboutery. So if we invite one person whose regime has slaughtered millions of people,
Carol, you'll have
why were there no protests about that?
Carol, you'll have plenty of time to talk, and I respect that. But look,
Well, you just brought me into the conversation, which is why I came into it.
I agree. We should not invite those types of dictators over here. But there you go. We have. But the thing is, this is a guy that threw his toys out the pram when he lost a democratic election, and the result of that was inciting a mob where people died. People died.
Can we just say we forgive him? Yeah. One or two did die. Yeah, actually, mainly the protesters. I think one guy had a heart attack. Somebody got shot. But can't we just say that's all in the past, Tony? Because in the end, let's be real here. This country's flagging.
If you're a gay person, a trans person, you're a black and brown person, you are concerned at this right-wing, white supremacist movements that appear to be happening in the world.
OK, thank you, Tony, very much indeed. After the break, we're taking more calls on this, on whether you think the protests against Trump's state visit are letting the side down. I just mentioned this. So this is remarkable. This Epstein projection on Windsor Castle, have a look. And it's not even, in the olden days, it would be a photo, a still photo. Now they're somehow able to show a movie and they put it on the side of Windsor Castle. And obviously the police have had a complete sense of humour failure. And they didn't taser them, but they've arrested them for something called malicious communications. I would take a bet that won't go anywhere in court, but let's see. Let's see, because we had Big Ben. This was anyway more serious because Big Ben was then covered by a pro-Palestinian slogan. Can we see it there? I can't see it very well. From the river to the sea, it said. I can't see it that well. But anyway, that was there. That was the one, I think, where they started to think, right, we need a way of dealing with this. Back in the day, the first really big... You remember the first time this happened?
Was it Loaded magazine?
It was FHM.
FHM, that's right.
With a picture of Gail Porter.
I
think she might be nude there.
She's a bit...
She said she had no idea. She gave this photo. They didn't say, oh, by the way, we're going to project it onto the House of Parliament. That was about 1995 or something, or 99.
Incredible bit of
And in
marketing.
those days, you wouldn't be arresting people. I do think this is heavy-handed.
It's not malicious.
But is that malicious to show?
Yeah, it's malicious to show him with the paedophile, yes.
But it's
because
factual,
you're suggesting he's one too.
Yeah, but that's just a photo of him. It's not made up. It's not opinion.
No,
that's
it's not
just
made up.
They're photos of him with a
The reason
paedophile.
they put that there is because they're suggesting he's like...
If they go on the... Wait
Again,
till the
he's
police
leader of the
find
free
the
world.
internet. That's going to be interesting. When the police discover Twitter, X, and start realising how much malicious communication there actually is, because they're going to have a lot of arrests to do. Angela in Gloucestershire, hi.
Hello.
Do you think the protesters who are shouting about Trump are letting the country down?
Yes, I do. I do, because I think, first of all, I think one has to be polite to people who are invited to the country, just like being polite to a guest or something like that, first. And secondly, it's, we've got to be pragmatic. He represents the United States of America, not just himself. You don't have to like him personally. But, we have invited him because of his office, not because of who he is.
But is there? Do you think, let's say with Yvette Cooper, it's a very awkward situation. She's now Foreign Secretary. She has to shake his hand and properly welcome him and not be sarcastic. And then 8 years ago, she's making a very tough speech saying he's disgusting. Now, can you hold both thoughts in your mind?
No, because I think she was being a bit extreme 5 years ago for political reasons, and nowadays, obviously, for political reasons, she has to change change her attitude, and again for political reasons. So she's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay, Angela. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Gina in London. Hello.
Hello. Morning.
Would you be protesting against Trump today?
I wish I could. He's a disgrace. And what's really bothering me as well, it's less than a week that Mandelson was sacked because he was photographed with Epstein. Yeah. And here you have Trump, it's just... So what are we saying? Is it okay to do these things if you're powerful and you're rich? But if you're poor or you're just a working person, you can't. Yeah. And so what message, someone's talked about it's an embarrassment. If you've invited someone and you're treating them, you're protesting, excuse me, it's an embarrassment to worship someone who's committed, he's a criminal. Not only is he friendly with Epstein, but he's talked about groping women. He riot when he didn't win
the grabbing women by the blank was, I think, 2016. I think it was the so-called, the something tapes, the Hollywood tapes. Mm-hmm. And he got elected after that, and then he's been elected again. And in the end,
that's
Gina,
America.
We have to grow up here. If he's elected, we don't have a choice, do we?
You do have a choice, because Mandelson, you shouldn't have sacked Mandelson. The public was gunning for him.
Elected.
You just said, Gina, Mandelson was fired because he was photographed with Epstein. That is not why he was fired. He was photographed because of the nature of the emails and the nature of his friendship with Epstein.
Well, it's the same thing
and he
with
lied
Trump.
about it. No, it's not. He wasn't
Trump's
just sacked
lying
because he
as
was
well.
photographed.
Trump's the biggest liar.
Maybe
so,
he is, but
you're-
what can we do, Gina? We have to deal with them, or people
Can I
will
say,
hear
Do you
all
never
this.
tell
what
lies,
can you
Gina?
do?
Do you
What
never
can
tell
you
lies?
do? You have to have morals. You have
Morals.
to have what you're teaching the young people. You're saying it's okay to, we're talking about children who go out and traffic with drugs.
All right.
And we're saying, it's okay if it's to get money, or to feed your family. What message are you sending out to young people?
Okay, Gina, thank you. I tell you
And what you're saying about the British people.
All right, we've got to pause there. We've got so many calls coming on. I suppose the message could be the importance of democracy. That if once you're elected, that's it. You're golden.
Exactly.
I don't know though. James wouldn't agree with that. So let's keep talking about this because we must. Really embarrassing protest against Trump. Is it acceptable? We'll take more calls after the break. Trudy in North Yorkshire, would you protest if you were near Windsor?
Good morning. No, I wouldn't, and I don't like to see it. I thought the Windsor Castle thing was tacky, not nice. But my main point is, I've watched all the mainstream media today, gone from channel to channel. The theme's the same. We hate Trump. He's this, he's that, he's bad, he's awful, he's horrible. All the stuff from all of the mainstream media today. That's the whole thing. He's bad. So we've just had a young man shot dead in America, Charlie Kirk. Obviously done by a young man. And my point is this. There is this idea that Trump's so evil, so bad, somebody will be sat watching today thinking, I'll take him out. He's a bad guy.
I hope not. I hope not.
Just like it's happened in America.
Of course, Thomas
I've
Brooks.
often wondered about the link, why so many shootings are on campus. Often wondered about that. And when you look at the videos, the whole thing is these young people saying how bad Kirk is, challenging him, he's horrible, he's this, he's that. And then a young man's gone out and shot him.
What point are you making, Trudy? Because I thought Charlie Kirk went to universities to... I mean, in the knowledge that the students would be crossed, but that's fine. It was a debate, right? What's wrong with any of it? Until someone picks up a gun.
Yes, because the theme is these people are bad.
I see.
And they need to be shot.
So, James, let's go to James, because, James, it is the thing that Trump is a bad person.
But are we? Hi, Trudy, good morning. Are we talking about the fact that you don't like protests, or is it the fact that you don't like protests
I'm
against...
fine with the protest.
Sorry, say that again?
I'm fine with protests.
Okay. So, but
you doesn't like him being... I'm going to try and summarise what you said. You don't like Trump being demonised, because you think that when you demonise the guy, the next thing is that someone tries to shoot him.
I think it's so...
No, I'm asking James. I've tried to Go on. So once you say he's not just bad, he's the worst, he's terrible, he's awful, he's evil, it gets dangerous.
But people have a right to say these things. They don't have a right to take shots at somebody and kill them. I'm not in favour of Charlie Kirk being shot or anyone being shot. But people have a right to take to the streets and say, we don't think this man should have an audience with the king in our country. 100%. This is how we hold people to power.
Yeah.
This is how we hold them to account.
Do you know what I find really scary now? There is young people coming up now, and we saw it last week in this country after Kirk was shot. There are young people who are quasi-justifying his shooting, saying, well, it was always going to happen because of his opinions. And that is happening more and more. And we see it on the media every day. We see people, and I have to say, normally the left, calling for people to be shot, murdered, killed, silenced, decapitated.
On the left?
Yes.
You don't see it with the MAGA lot in the States?
I'm talking about here, and I'm talking about the people that we see who can... we had Alistair Campbell last week talking in a way which was so dangerous, I thought, saying, We're
going to take another call, but...
Can I just say this?
Yeah, quickly.
The fact that the guy was shot, he was saying, oh, well, he advocates the stoning of gay people. It's a lie. He never has advocated this.
Well,
he's a gay rights
Campbell apologised for that. Barry in London, hello.
Hello.
What do you think? Should these people who are protesting at least pipe down while Trump is here? What?
Listening to some of your callers and listening to you, okay, Jeremy, I appreciate you have to play the role of the devil's advocate.
You know that.
That doesn't mean that you suspend your sense of morality. You could have said we should wipe the slate clean.
Well, I don't even know what your views are, Barry. What do you think?
My view is this grotesque man should never have been invited to this country in the first place.
Right. But he's elected, mate. So that's it. That's it. He's elected.
That doesn't mean you're okay. you might be sleeping. Because you're elected, you're certainly okay. You can be a convicted felon.
Kind of.
Yeah, he sexually assaulted a woman, found guilty of that. But so it's okay, he's been elected, so we can forget that. And can I remind you, there's a sweet little old lady up in our farm, actually, the northeast of England, who he tried to bully out of her house. She lived in that house for decades, and he wanted to build his golf course in the northeast of Scotland, and she refused to sell her farmhouse to him.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he bullied her out. He tried to bully her out. That's the kind of man we're dealing with. And we invite him to this country and shovel praise and flattery on him. You think that's okay, Jeremy?
I'm not going to. No, listen, come on. I'm going to just let you say your piece. I'm not. Hang on. We've just got timing issues here. We've got to move on. But we're going to leave. Barry, we'll leave you with the last word there. Thank you so much. Please keep watching. Let's remind